So I'll tell you, the things they want to talk about, the things I want to talk about are kind of crazy. It's stupid stuff in Jeff's head for 200, Alex. What are we talking about, Jeff?
Dang. Holy cow, everybody. How you doing? It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Oh, my goodness. I am just jumping for this show right now. I got to tell you that right now. But, you know, I got to also announce that it's lucky number 13. That's right, episode 13. I'm not superstitious. I'm not worried about it. I'm going to keep plugging through. And I'll tell you what, I played on full moons and had some of the best shows. And I don't know, number 13's never worried me. So there you go. Plowing through, maybe this is the bad luck we kick out of Wisconsin for a moment. I have something big, you guys, later that, between Google, Yahoo, YouTube, some of these guys, I'm going to talk about it in a little bit for you, but I'm going to give you my quick rundown of local stuff like crazy. First, let's talk about the Badgers. Oh, man, you guys, had it in your hands, and then you got beat by the 13th ranked Big Ten team. Made a heck of a comeback, though. They were within 2 right near the end there. So, you know, love the Badgers. They're going to the NIT. So, most likely, I can't imagine unless they're a 16 seed. But, it's, you know, honestly, the NIT is probably a better thing. All right, moving down to that. Minnesota, when we were talking about them clearing money, well, now they've released Adam Thielen. What happens now, Minnesota? Yeah. I'm assuming it's going to be a re-sign where they're just, you know, they're just letting his contract expire. They release him, and I'm not sure how it works in the NFL if it's like baseball where he gets claimed on waivers by somebody. I doubt it because it's not middle of the season. So I'm assuming he'll just sit out there and then accept offers from people. And I'm assuming Minnesota will be one of his first callbacks right away. So I am going to be down with the trio of Sammy Ray. I wanted to toss that out there as well on Saturday at Collins Deck Bar in West Bend. So I will be performing out there. Just wrote a new song. I can't hint it yet, but it's pretty doggone cool. It starts with the word strong. I'll give you that for a title. I don't want to get any ideas for anybody out there. Ha ha ha. All right. So yeah, we got our good friend Yetter's got his birthday party down at Collins Deck Bar. So it'll be a trio with me, Sammy Ray, and Chris Hodgson coming up on Saturday. I'm just going to get you guys that so you can, if you look back at this, you can see it. Starting at 7 p.m. There you go. Let's just toss that out there. Bam. That's where I'll be on Saturday, all right? 7 p.m. out at Collins Deck Bar is a trio. The 3 of us. There you go. So now on to the meat of this thing, because I got a lot to say. I think I'm going to pull a Brett Cooper with this. There's going to be some reaction, I think, is what I need to do, because this was... Maybe I'm frustrated in the wrong way, but this has to do with an article that popped up on Google for me, on Google News, and it was just done today. And I had to look into it, but I had to give you this. Wisconsin sucks? Yeah, what the hell? I get it. And they come up with some of these things. I'm going to show you this. It first starts with a Drivin and Vibin is this YouTube group. It's a husband and wife named Kyle and Olivia. And this was the article, guys. I'm going to show you this right off the bat. It said right here, 5 reasons to avoid Wisconsin for tourists in 2023. Now, what got me on this was, okay, for tourists, these are RVers. I just want to point this out. These are RVers. I'm going to show you guys this and kind of, I think I'm going to, I want to get you guys just a view of who they are. This is what I'll do. I'll share this one for you. So this is coming up when it shares it. Sorry, guys. Getting used to this now. So this is Kyle and Olivia. They aren't driving and vibing, and I had to do a little bit of research first. They don't say much in their stuff, but this is their opening video, and so they tell you right off the bat their story. Here you go.
Welcome back to our channel, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are super happy to have you here. If it's your first time here, we would love for you to subscribe and join the Vibe Tribe.
Let us start by a quick apology if we're squinting a little bit. The sun's going down, but we didn't want to be wearing sunglasses, so if we do squint, it's because we're trying to let that sun set without blinding us. But yes, today is the day where we will tell our story, and I guess the best place to start is pretty much from the beginning.
Definitely. So we met at Big Daddy's Grill right on Fish River in Fairhope, Alabama.
Right.
We highly recommend you stopping by if you're in the area. The owner
So we know they're from Alabama.
So amazing, and he has been
so I love hearing from RVers from Alabama how Wisconsin
is. Like a great friend to us. So we really appreciate him and his friendship.
And when we met there, Olivia was a hostess and I was a server, and I was a server with a very bad work ethic. So she was not very fond of me.
Well,
I wasn't extremely fond about the job. It was a good way to make money on the side, but I was also really trying to build up my music career at that time.
Crap. It's a YouTuber with a music career.
Yeah, so and this was my first job ever in a restaurant, and I just remember him being super lazy and never wanting tables. So I didn't like him very much at the time.
What are you trying to say?
But
I never will be a waiter,
after a while,
folks.
we just started to get to know each other a little better, and he eventually went off to pursue his music career. So when we caught back up one day and had a conversation, we just really clicked, and I got to know a side of him I'd never seen before.
So that was about 6 years ago now, in 2012.
So they've been RVing for less than 6 years. Okay. So there you go, everybody. I'm gonna pull out of this one real quick here. So okay, so they've been RVing for less than 6 years, and I think if you're going to go across the United States, and so let me go to the article first. Okay, so now I clicked on the article, and this is what it looks like, everybody. So it says 5 reasons to avoid Wisconsin for tourists in 20. And I read the front end. Now, this is kind of nice, but this is kind of like setting up a bad Hollywood horror flick. Though it may seem like a beautiful state full of friendly people, we've got a few reasons to avoid Wisconsin. If you've been planning a trip to the Badger State, we have bad news for you. It may not be the paradise you've dreamed of. Today, we'll look at the dark side of America's Dairyland. Okay. So, seeing this for the first time, everybody, like they said this, and like it's not the paradise you dreamed of. When I think of paradise, I'm going to Florida. I'm going to the beaches, right? I'm not thinking of Wisconsin as paradise, and I live here. Okay, but I mean, duh, really? Okay, so I get that they're setting up their article here. Let me go back to that now. And as we look at this, I'm reading through, and I want you guys to notice this video that has nothing to do with their YouTube, but they decided to paste this on here. We're going to get to that in a second because that one really got me. And it says, should tourists avoid Wisconsin? So always ask the question, should they avoid Wisconsin? And so we read this, and it says, known for being a cheese capital of the world, Wisconsin draws in tourists for a number of reasons, just because of cheese. Why? Why just cheese? Why does it have to be just cheese? I get it. Dairy lovers can visit some hundreds of dairy makers across the state. If you're not a tourophile, that's okay. There's still a lot you can do. Outdoorsy types will like ice fishing, Nordic skiing in the winter, boating, swimming in the Great Lakes. In the Great Lakes, during the summer, boating out on the Great Lakes, I get. Fishing out on the Great Lakes, I get. Swimming is more of the lakes in the state. Thanks. So now you forget that, but they'll get to that too. I'm assuming. Sports fans would probably love to visit the Packer Stadium. Tourists will find no shortage of breweries and museums to make the state there's truly something for everyone. However, visitors often find themselves disappointed upon arrival. Before you plan a trip, you need to know why we suggest you avoid Wisconsin. I mean, geez, why not bitch slap us now? I mean, holy cow. So they start right away with, everybody starts with the right away of drunk driving. And, it says we rank 8th in the nation for alcohol-related incidents. If you include people getting a disturbing the peace fine, yes. Give me the one about accidents on the road and killing people, and you might find a different result. We'll have to look into that. But it says number of fatalities in DUIs cause 190 deaths, but the current rate remains very high. But the state reported over 30 fatalities from crashes with intoxicated motorists last year. By comparison, California only about 25, although its population is 3 times larger. Listen, you're coming to a state that has cloudy days, that has snow, and you're talking about California, who most of those were probably right in LA, and they have tougher laws on a lot of things for a reason. So there's all types of reasons why that happened. I'm not going to say that you shouldn't worry about DUIs in some way, shape, or form. We all do, and we all should worry about it. But I'm going to tell you right now, that's way overblown, especially if you're an RVer. Okay, so this just coming from the fact that you were an RVer, you're worried about getting hit in your big RV by a drunk driver. Are you driving your RV in the middle of the night on a 2-lane road? I doubt it. Just a thought. You're probably parked in a trailer park with your RV at this time. So I just think that's a little blown out of proportion for people who are RVing. Now, the next one really kind of makes me laugh. It's hard to avoid in Wisconsin potholes. Well, okay, first of all, the reason snow plows dig up corners when they're plowing. Welcome to Wisconsin, yes. But you're telling me that you're driving your RV in most places where they have to plow in the middle of the city? If you're driving your RV in the middle of the city, you're probably lost. There are some potholes here and there, but the freeways are still pretty dang good. I have to be honest. And except for certain counties, really, most of the time you're pretty good, especially in summer when little mounds tend to recede. In the wintertime, you go up. One of the most famous ones to me is 64 going between Anago and Merrill. They create little bumps that you literally have to jump over because of the cold weather kind of shrinking everything together. And then in the summertime, they ease. It's amazing how much they ease. So if you're driving your RV, it's probably going to be summertime up here. Okay, or come in the nice spring and not get bombarded by everybody down in Florida. Come on up, mid-May, maybe late April, just a thought. But they claim that excessive wear and tear on their RV from a pothole, but where most potholes are is in the major cities. And if you're driving your RV in a major city, what are you doing? Second, mosquitoes and bugs are bad up there. That's true. We've had fairly decent, like last year was not terrible, right? But it's not like we have malaria here. It's not like Vietnam where you're completely hot. And if you figure out things to do, it says you'll be trapped inside. Well, you're RVing. I mean, if you go to Florida, you get locusts, for God's sake. So, I mean, come on, your comparison? Really? So then the next on their list is Wisconsin has polluted lakes. Well, yeah, I mean, there's an industry for rivers and stuff, and some of the lakes are based off of the rivers. But they talk about E. coli. During the summer, E. coli has been found in swimming holes of Wisconsin. Are you drinking the water? Phosphorus runoff. Do you realize that we have showers for that reason? And if you're swimming in one of those 1,200 when there's probably more than 10,000 bodies of water in Wisconsin, you're probably going to the wrong places. And most campgrounds that allow RVs have water checked now, even when they have a little pond. So I don't know where you guys are going. If you're getting lost in the back corners of the world, and you found a really crappy place, I get it. But all you're basing this on is numbers. You're not actually looking to see where you can go and where you can't. Because I'll bet you could go to any state and find enough polluted waters. If you're going to park your RV by them, well, duh. That one kind of got me. Then it says public transportation is scarce. Well, we're not LA, and we're not Birmingham, Alabama. But I can't imagine Alabama has a bunch of public transportation going all over the state. I mean, you have a number of colleges, so yeah, there's going to be public transportation. We have a number of colleges. Usually where colleges are, you have public transportation. Have you heard of Uber? Just a thought. And if you're coming from any RV park, where is there public transportation to most RV parks? Just a thought. You're not really RVing and going outdoorsing if you're parking where there's going to be public transportation. Like, that's your top 5 reasons to avoid. You're going to tell everybody to avoid Wisconsin because of that. Now, this is great. Avoid Wisconsin until they get it together? Are you kidding me? So it's up to us to kill all the mosquitoes, fix all the water, because, doggone it, wherever you're parking is a place where there's a factory, I'm sure. And there's 10,000 lakes, and you point out 1,200. Just don't park at the 1,200. You've got a lot of other choices. You've never actually come up here and seen the place. You've never actually been to Wapaka and the chain of lakes in the middle of summer. It's freaking amazing. You've never actually been to Eau Claire Dells at the falls and jumped in the water there. It's freaking awesome. You've never gone to Wisconsin Dells and actually rode on the boats and enjoyed some time, have you? Ever? Boom. Man, I mean, there's plenty of waterways that aren't polluted. It says, or stop by quickly for the cheese. Well, really, you can get Wisconsin cheese in Illinois. You can get Wisconsin cheese in Minnesota. You can get Wisconsin cheese in California. You can get Wisconsin cheese in places because they'll hold cheese curds. But if you're talking about authenticity, you go. I mean, I could find 10 things about other states that would be a jerk about, but holy cow, avoid Wisconsin until they get it together. Well, okay, I'll give you that. It's a Democratic run state. We'll get into that in a little while because we've got another guy to look at. Got to tell you, seeing where our time is at, yep, we're at the 20-minute mark. So, hey, guys, just want to tell you what you're watching, and you're watching, what are we talking about, Jeff? On DAHL Media. That's right. Oh, my goodness. Holy cow.
So I'll tell you, the things they want to talk about, the things I want to talk about are kind of crazy. It's stupid stuff in Jeff's head for 200, Alex. What are we talking about, Jeff?
That's right. Like and subscribe right there and go down to YouTube. You can just scan that thing with your phone. You go to YouTube, like and subscribe, and then hit that little bell. That's what the ding ding is for, so you can find me at any time I go live. Because I'm so random, sometimes you just need a notice. And then you can always come find me later on YouTube. You'll see a full show right there. You can find the What Are We Talking About, Jeff playlist. You can find every one of my episodes so far. As we're on episode 13. Love it. Love it. Now, we've been talking about YouTubers and, to me, just bashing Wisconsin, which, whoa, hold your roll, man. Oh, my goodness. And I know I live here. I was born and raised here, and so maybe I'm biased. But again, we're talking about this. We had the Drivin and Vibin. Well, they're more like Drivin and Cryin the way we've been reading this. So I got it down here in the corner. I'm going to bring it up. Bang! Right there for you. Now check this out. Now they talk about, every time you go onto an article or something, they find stuff. They're talking about free campsites and things like that and all these extras, right? Amazing waterfalls in Wisconsin. Look, right underneath. Avoid the Midwest. If you like the urban scene, avoid the Midwest. Yes, please. It's too easy. Come on. Well, what I love here is Wisconsin tossing out there. This is also triggered by things I look at. But right away, it says something about don't go to Wisconsin. And Wisconsin Dells had a ad on one of these right off the bat. And what else? Let's see here. Subaru and Dodge are going crazy. They're showing you repellents and stuff. Which, if that's all you got to do, if you go to Florida, California, you got to put sunscreen on, right? So when you come to Wisconsin, you put on bug spray. Same kind of deal. All right. Anyway, so I was looking through this, and when you get there, I saw this one, and I thought it was kind of interesting. So I wanted to come back, and this guy's driving. Looking up at his camera.
I looked at all the comments from the last video.
Right. So he's driving, staring right into our eyes, first of all. This guy actually does have a journalistic degree and has worked for a number of places. This guy is Nick Johnson. If you can see this, I want to show you. We're going to get a breakdown of Nick Johnson here. So I went out there, and it took me a second. Here you go, guys. So this is Nick Johnson right here, okay? And this is Wikitubia, which is the YouTube Wikipedia. So anybody can put this in there. So people have just put in, what his website is. The website is actually the thing he's a part of, right? It's called Home Snacks. And he has his own as well, his own YouTube. And it took me a second to figure out where the heck this guy was from. But as I read more, I went to Home Snacks website. Here you go. And as we look at it, he's a graduate of Claremont University. Or technically, it says he earned a master's in business at Drucker School at Claremont Graduate University. It's a lot of titles for one university. But he's been in 39 publications across the country and ran the media relations department at Movoto, a real estate portal. So actually, he's only got a business degree. He's not actually a journalist, but that's why we end up on YouTube, because we're not journalists. But, he's built up 260,000 subscribers since 2007. That's pretty good. But what got me was this. So we're going to do a reaction video, guys. I went to his page and wanted to see this video. And so I'm going to back up. And what really got me out of it all. So I'm going to find his video. Actually, you know what? We're just going to click on his video. We're just going to click on his video and open it up. Okay.
Sweet about the places.
This guy is something.
Tailgater's dream. Badger State has rolling hills, thousands of beautiful lakes, and some big-name universities. If you're from Wisconsin, you know it's a great state to call home, but not every city in America's Dairyland's a winner.
I'm going to watch this on YouTube, guys. Not every city's a... Here we go.
Stuff, like where the poverty is the highest, where the crime is bad, and where the schools are bad, and where it's just outright ghetto. Those are the things we're going to measure. Plus, I looked at all the comments from the last video I did and took that into account too. Because you people in Wisconsin, you know where the bad places are, right?
Yeah.
So while the ice cream sundae,
wow, that whole thing just seemed a little bit particular on.
Nothing sweet about the places we're going to talk about. Let's get going, shall we?
Sure. Worst places in Wisconsin. Driving through an alley.
We get our tour of the worst places to live in Wisconsin with a stop in New London. Located in the east central part of the state and
for 6 months. I didn't hate it.
People. New London's a popular destination for fishing, tubing, and camping.
Yeah.
Seems like a great place to live if you like that small town feel.
If you like that small town feel, well, aren't you?
The economy here isn't too bad. The unemployment rate's just about 5%, and the town has an affordable cost of living. It's your typical small town in Wisconsin.
That's why I moved there.
Lots of farms, land, trucks, and bars. The people here are generally very nice. However, the median income stands at about $48K, and 13% of people are living below the poverty line. Additionally, the town falls short when it comes to housing and diversity.
Got lots of stats.
Honestly, if this
it's short on diversity.
The 10th worst place to live in Wisconsin, then that means Wisconsin's pretty awesome. I'll tell you that.
It's true.
What are some of the perks to living in New London? Well, if you're Irish, you'd fit right in. The city has the largest St. Patrick's Day parade in the state. With
Actually, I think Irish people might be slightly offended, but
New Dublin for the week. And you know, people in Wisconsin,
it's a thing to get people excited and come in and do community events, and you're bashing them.
Ashland, located at the top of the state on Lake Superior. About 8,000 people call Ashland.
Look, they do something great for the community, but if you're Irish, it's the only reason why you should go.
The rest of the year is pretty miserable with
so Ashland, true. I stayed there in the middle of winter.
Folks living way up here don't earn much and have trouble getting jobs.
If you're going to live there, you're going to know that stuff happens. You're going to understand the beauty of what we can see.
People are out of work, and 1 in 5 residents lives below the poverty line. Then there's the crime rate, sitting at 62% above the national average. Folks in Ashland have a 1 in 27 chance of having their stuff stolen or burned each year. The city also had 21
That's
aggravated
pretty specific. I want to know what that's about.
Which seems pretty high for such a small place. People living here complain that
21 aggravated assaults. Are you kidding me?
There's nowhere to shop except Walmart and the local businesses.
It's probably 4 people that beat each other up all the time. At least the public
schools here are decent. The student-to-teacher ratio and amount spent per student are bright spots, and the graduation rate's above the state average.
I mean,
so maybe
I can't imagine the assault charges between the Hazard County police and the Duke boys.
Like a lot of other people did. At number 8, we travel to the southeastern part of the state to find brown deer.
Brown deer. Now, this one,
Milwaukee. A lot of people probably haven't.
It's still a bash. It's still so stupid.
About 12,000 people call this place home. Now, at first glance, brown deer seems like a great place to live.
It is.
The location's ideal. You're located on Lake Michigan, and it's just a 15-minute drive to downtown. It's affordable, diverse. The unemployment rate's low, but it's not terrible. And they have some beautiful parks.
But it's not terrible. It's low, but it's not terrible.
You don't want to plant roots here. That's because brown deer is the second most dangerous place in the state. The crime rate is way above the national average.
Just south of it, that's the most dangerous, and the reason why.
The victim of property crime.
Yeah,
every year they live
victim
here.
of a property crime.
Here, like
dangerous would mean I'm going to get hit with a baseball bat.
And padlock your picnic basket if you're spending a day at Brown Deer Park.
Well,
schools here are okay. They're not great. About half the kids get free or reduced lunch, and that's sad.
Why?
The graduation rate's 95%. But
that's sad.
Testing paints a different picture.
That people are helping 16%
people. 16% of the high school kids here are proficient in reading and math. Come on, Brown Deer kids.
Only 16, my butt.
But people rant and rave about the tight-knit community here, and that has to count for something, right? So it can't be terrible.
Okay, so I'm going to pause that for a second.
We come to
what gets me about this guy pointing all the stats out that he could read on a piece of paper was great, but he's never lived there. And don't get me wrong, if your lifestyle is leave all your doors open, yes, don't live right next to Milwaukee on the northwest side, which is the reason why brown deer gets the bad rep. It's not brown deer that's the problem. It's the bus riders that just happen by and figure if I steal something, they'll never see me again. I lived in West Dallas, and what we used to get is the guys riding the bus through West Dallas, coming from downtown, or like South Side Milwaukee or wherever they were coming from in Milwaukee. And they'd end up off the bus standing waiting for the next bus for 20, 30 minutes, and they get bored. And they figure, well, I'm not going to be in this neighborhood long. I'll go grab something out of somebody's car and jump back on the bus when it gets here. So yeah, that happens everywhere. That happens in any city that's going to be right next to a high crime area. I want to point out too that there's, never mind. Not even going to go to politics, but wow, that just really got me. Now let's go back into his video because he's going to talk about Janesville next.
Janesville in Rock County for the first time and not the last time. Janesville is challenged in many ways
Rock County Democrat
with poverty, drugs, and crime. A lot of folks say it's kind of a terrible place to live in a lot of Janesville. Much of Rock County should be avoided for families moving to the state.
There's actually a lot of money in Janesville.
Moving up here from Illinois are coming up here for the increase in welfare bennies.
Wait, did he just say that? Folks, it says here, Rock County should be avoided for families moving to the state. A lot of fibs moving up here from Illinois. Wow. So Illinois, hey, by the way, he just bashed the hell out of you on the way by too. Like, wow, dude. Great journalism. Good job. avoid this place. Oh, and it's all these Illinois fibs that come up. Are you trying to talk like somebody from Wisconsin, or is this your opinion? Wow. Sorry. Let's keep going.
Janesville is one of the places they land. Can you imagine that? Lowlifes moving up here from Illinois just to get more welfare money. Janesville is all.
Oh, I'd like to say that our welfare system has been long since changed. And that's like 1990s thinking and 2000s thinking. Like, we're 20 years removed from feeling like that in a lot of places. I got to tell you. And to make this comment, I think he shot this because he'll show in here. Wisconsin Rapids got their water park in the last 3 years, say 2019, 2020, right? So he shot this in 2020, which is still an era of, this is coming from a guy from San Francisco. Just blows my mind, like how this guy can say the things he's saying. And I hear that from a Wisconsinite, and it still makes me cringe. So why would you repeat it? Oh my gosh. Like, this is not journalism. This is bashing. This is outright bashing to tell you to avoid, oh, this place sucks. Don't do it ever. Man, dude. Like, okay.
Also more dangerous than all but 5% of the rest of the state. So there's that. Besides the crime levels, the schools here are lousy, and there's not much to do. But you can't blame them for that.
Here you go, Janesville, Parker. They just slammed you.
At number 6, Wisconsin Rapids, located in the middle of the state along the Wisconsin River.
Yes, it is.
Nearly 18,000 people call this place home.
Everything he's going to talk about, I've addressed.
A lot cooler than it actually is.
Wisconsin, and I will
Rapids is a manufacturing town that has struggled with the loss of jobs and a weak economy.
And he didn't know.
1 in 20 residents refuse to work here, people. Almost 1 in 5 live below the poverty line, and home values are among some of the worst in the state. For such a small town, Wisconsin Rapids has a major crime problem. The crime rate runs more than 32% above the national average, although it's more of a property crime.
He's saying it's more of a property crime, and then wait till what you hear he has to say, because if it's truly a property crime issue, why would you make the comment he's about to make? Check this out.
Folks living here have a 1 in 32 chance of having their stuff stolen every single year. There's also a growing opioid problem here, which is just how it is in these days in small town America, sadly. People can't put the pipes down for one day and get serious about themselves.
Wow, that's judgmental. Wow. So, I mean, yeah, we all know that there's been a drug problem in Rapids. I'm going to spend some time on Rapids, guys, because this is kind of part of me. I hope you don't mind. That kind of gets me that he said anything about that. But thank you, Nick Johnson, for your opinion. He points out the opioid problem, yet he says most of the crime is property. What he's also going to find out in here, too, that you'll see in a second, is the mill is shut down now. So he points that out as a bad thing here, too. So don't get me wrong. So if smell was a problem, I guess Gary, Indiana would lose. Duh. It's like, man, this guy's really got my trigger, as you can tell. Anyway, let's just keep going.
People living here complain that the schools aren't great. There's not much to do. There's a lot of empty shops, and the paper mill in town smells awful. That's
just keep him downwind.
Sucks. Maybe it's all the meth they're making up here in Wisconsin Rapids.
Wow! Did you catch that? Maybe it's all the meth they're making up here in Wisconsin Rapids. This guy talks like he lives here, first of all. But second of all, so this is the only place they make meth. Or could it be that it's not in the middle of Stevens Point, but it's right next to a bunch of college towns, and you've got a market for people who are having a tough time? And could it be that we actually get, say, 3, 4, 5 people from Kenosha, Racine, and Milwaukee trying to escape an area, but yet they still have habits that they bring and realize they can make a bunch of money with their habits and just infect another town? Also, you're pointing out the cranberry and forgot about the potato farms and everything, but we also get that also calls for migrants that can utilize jobs out here, but their time here isn't wanting to be well spent. And well, their influence can be known too. It's the influence of the area, man, when it comes to jobs. But if you're going to say we should be mad about that, I get the funny feeling. I'm just going to check. I'm going to check my temperature here with you, Nick Johnson, that maybe you're a Democrat, or maybe you're not. Maybe you're a Republican that just has opinions about everybody to that extent. Right? So I won't make any political assumptions, but I'm going to say this. The vibe that he gives off talking about these towns is like he's promoting the idea that you shouldn't go there and that you'll never want to because they'll never change. That's belittling Wisconsin in itself, that we've never done anything successful. That really, just pointing out these 10 towns and the way this guy talks, he makes it sound like we've never done anything good. So Nick Johnson from San Fran, I'm putting you on blast right now. That's just, I get you're trying to inform people of things. If you're so worried about us and the way things are going, why don't you come up here and try and help us change it? That just, oh man. All right, let's keep going.
But there's always going to be perks to living here. The area is home to some of the largest cranberry marshes in the county, and a new aquatic center just opened, and that looks fantastic for families.
About 10 lawyers,
good for you,
20
Wisconsin
lawyers
Rapids
too.
On that one. We're going to drive an hour and 15 minutes south to find number 5, Portage. The town's located at the split of the Wisconsin and Fox Rivers, and it's home to just about 10,000 people.
And
while
a couple
the views
major
of the river are
prisons.
nice, there's not much to love about living in Portage.
Oh,
the town has
damn.
a sluggish economy. A bunch of people can't find jobs or have stopped trying. 1 in every 8 homes is near the poverty line, and the median income here is just above $45K.
I'd be
On top of
tempted to
that, there's a
think that's
lack
a
of diversity.
Democratic-run
There's
city.
concerns about housing and mediocre schools. People living here complain about all the vacant businesses. They say there's not much to do in the winter.
Did you notice anybody that these are major hubs he's talking about? New London, barring New London being a major hub for Waupaca County, but you're talking about Janesville, Portage, and Wisconsin Rapids, who all have county prisons and federal prisons just outside of their area. Just wanted to point that out.
And there's a growing drug problem here as well. But at least the town's trying. They've revitalized the downtown area, and they've cleaned up the Portage Canal, and they opened up a new bike path. Awesome, Portage. Keep trying. At number 4, we travel to the...
You should see the new road they put through on 16 now, because I have to drive it all the time. There's also well-trafficked police everywhere now, too. So I'm not going to say crime is a big problem. So, again, it's more like you're sounding like you're above the people who live there. Like, hey, good job, guys. I can do a better job than the mayor can.
The coast again to Racine, which is south of Milwaukee. Don't laugh, Kenosha. You're not much better.
I can laugh about that. I'll tell you what. Here we are, guys. We're at our 20-minute window here. I want to tell you, I love that you guys are hanging out with me. Just want to send that love out to all the people that are hanging with me. Before we go on with what's going on in our full hour here, just want to thank you for watching, and send comments out there, man. I'm excited to jump on it now. I can't say that I'm going to catch every one of them right now, but I always go back and watch as much as I can to try and catch some comments that are going on. As a matter of fact, I'm looking on my phone right now for that reason to check out the live section on Facebook, just to make sure. You can find us at DAHL Media or DAHL Studios on Facebook, just so you know. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, I'll check that out, brother. I believe, though, I just got booked for June 17th. I'll check for sure, Travis. Thank you so much. Yeah, here we go. Looking at the live chat, you can hear me talking there. Cool. All right. So I'm turning that down so it doesn't echo on you guys, but I'm watching my live chats. If you guys can jump on here, please do. We're going to take a little station break so you know what you're watching. DAHL Media.
So I'll tell you, the things they want to talk about, the things I want to talk about are kind of crazy. It's stupid stuff in Jeff's head for 200, Alex. What are we talking about, Jeff?
Dang.
Yes, like and subscribe, hit that bell to know when I go online, because I'm a bit random sometimes. But so glad to have you guys out here. I'm Geoff Landon. It's nice to see you guys online. There's a number of you. Love it. Make some comments. Let me know you're out here. Say hi. Mostly on Facebook. If you're out there seeing YouTube, make some comments. I'll see it after when the video is reposted as well. So just so thankful you guys are out here and hanging. We've gotten into this thing about YouTubers making articles and places like Google deciding that they're going to go the next mile and point out these articles. And we got Google and Yahoo deciding that they're going to make these people into journalists with some of their stuff. And I'm not sure if you're going to spread negativity on all newsreels, like this place sucks, don't go there. Please put something positive about that place too, or fine, because for as many negative, there's probably something good going on too. So at least for every 10 negative you tend to put out there, put something out that's a little positive. I'm calling you out, Google. Dadgummit, I use your stuff all the time. You could at least try. Anyway, all right, so we're going to get back into the video. This is Nick Johnson, and he's with a YouTube group out of San Francisco, of all things, making comments. And if you guys have been following the last 20 minutes, we've been watching this as a react video, and I'm pulling a little bit of a Brett Cooper here, but I'm a fan, and she's been around literally a year and has, 2 million viewers now? It's crazy, like in a year. This guy's been around since 2007. He's got 260,000, so it shelved off a little bit, I think, and that's fine. But I know my local market is Wisconsin. I'm not looking for national notoriety. I mean, if it happens, cool. But really, I'm doing this to inform you guys. This guy, the way he talks, man, is kind of tough. Here's to it. Let's look at this again. We're now to Racine. He's talking about the worst places in Wisconsin. Here you go.
77,000 people call Racine home, but there's a lot of people leaving this place. The first garbage disposal was manufactured here, and it seems fitting because this place is trash. Oh, wow! Racine was once called the most affordable place to live in the world, which is probably good because it's home to some of the laziest people in the state.
He's obviously got stock footage from Racine that they would actually use for tourism in some cases. Look at all those boats, those sailboats. You think everybody in the poverty level has those sailboats? What is this? Some place in Vietnam or something where everybody's got a market? No. Look, you're telling me that everybody that owns those boats is in the poverty level, right? So they must suck, because obviously everything he's basing everything on is the poverty level. All the numbers he can read out of a book. But what it tends to be, folks, and we're going to find this out, and he laughed at Kenosha, and we only laugh because we know the corridor goes between. That's kind of like saying there's never, the worst towns in Texas are probably going to be El Paso and Juarez City. Because this is a border town between. You have Waukegan, Kenosha, and Racine, all between Chicago and Milwaukee. And people take the train with stops in those towns, and the bus, and small flights, and a car to visit family members that live in between both. And typically, if you're going to drive a car to stay kind of incognito, if you're doing something fishy, you're not going to take the freeway. You're going to go up the 2-lane road along the lake, and you end up in towns like this where you can stop and drop off product. The reason why these have tough crime, and the reason why, is they're easily accessible as a channel between Milwaukee and Chicago. It's a duh moment. But if you actually live there and want to live a good life, there's nothing wrong with this town. I digress. Let's keep going.
Seriously, 1 in 16 people are without jobs. 1 in 5 are chronically on food stamps. And of course, home values are going to be some of the lowest around. The schools here aren't great either. They're lacking funding and there's no real hope in sight. And the student enrollment, which drives revenue, is going down. Like, seriously, they're losing about 500 kids in the near future here.
That's true. That's true. Racine's a tough town. I mean,
pretty lousy. Hopefully, some of them will move back
also
down
know
to
a lot
Illinois,
of
where they came from.
the firemen and policemen there.
Can still look forward to the mega
better than you
prom
think.
every year. And number 3, Anago, a small farming and manufacturing community.
Oh my God! I used to live here too, folks.
Just about 8,000 people.
There's a reason why we called it Antigo.
The town is really a shell of its former self. These days, Anago is struggling with everything. This town has the worst unemployment rate in the state at 10%, which is super high for Wisconsin. 20% of folks here live in poverty, and unsurprisingly, Anago has the worst home values in Wisconsin, where you can get a house for about $87,000. But who would want to move out here these days?
That hurts. I lived outside of Anago. I lived in Anago for a short period of time. And yeah, there's a reason why I got out, because I wasn't going to go anywhere if I stayed there. And so this is one of those. But the thing for me was, it's so close to those things I want to see in tourism. It's so close to all those places you can go, like Rhinelander and Eau Claire Dells and Prairie Dells over in Merrill. It's not far from Merrill, that has some beautiful towns, but they're right. I mean, this one, I had some great times singing karaoke in Anago, and I met some really killer people in Anago that just, it's hard to think that this is on there on the list. It really is. I've always been a person who loved going to the places that I used to live and embracing the people. One of my best friends lives there. But I can tell you right now, too, Anago and New London are probably the biggest victims of one thing, and that is hospitals and clinics are the smallest you'll ever get in those two towns. I would dare to say Ashland is in the same boat. Where people, when they're sick and then they get stuck in a town because they can't drive, they can't do a whole lot of things, but they love their town, they stay there and they don't get the help they need. We're not talking about a bundle of people who just are lazy. We're talking about people who have been beat down because of an area that just they were used to people being strong-willed people. Now you've taken neighborhoods with people who don't want to work, with a generation that doesn't want to try hard and doesn't have a systematic value of helping their brother. Coupled with the fact that you had a city council or a council that was maybe more concerned that their money revenue wasn't coming in than actually paying attention on how to improve situations for companies. But I've watched tough people in that town make it and take care of each other. That town holds each other. That town is around because people still take care of each other and they don't expect the outside world to save them. So it may look bleak, but I'm telling you right now, there are people trying their butt off in those towns. It's just hard to see somebody be this bashing from California when we could probably walk right in his backyard and show how crappy some people are being treated in San Francisco.
Sorry, just saying. On top of that, the crime rate here is double the national average. What the heck is going on in Little Anago? Folks living here have a 1 in 22 chance of being the victim of a property crime every year they'll Anago home. So lock your doors here, people. The public schools here aren't great. 12% of adults never finish high school. There's a growing drug problem in the community. And
that's true, because of the halfway point
hungry people here complain
from Wausau up.
A perk? There's plenty to do outdoors, from hunting to fishing to swimming and snowmobiling. So there's
a lot of things outdoors there.
One resident put it best: if you like fast food, Walmart, and meth, Anago is the place for you. At number 2, Milwaukee. The MLK.
That's number 2, huh?
Milwaukee. The Mill.
If they said Rock County,
like,
then I'm assuming they're going to say Madison next.
The Brew City is home to nearly 600,000 people. It's the biggest city in Wisconsin, and with that comes the perks of big city life. You know, professional sports teams, museums, restaurants, and shops,
right,
as well as big city problems. Milwaukee's population peaked in 1960, and now it's down about 16%, although it seems like the population loss has stabilized. But they lost a lot of factory jobs, and a lot of trash from Chicago is moving in. Sure, there's lots of Milwaukee.
This guy's bashing cool. Illinois like crazy. I love
part
it.
Of town that's terrible. There are parts of town that
they're blaming our problems on Illinois.
There's quite a few large pockets of super bad and super poor, especially in the area near Northwest Side, like Williamsburg Heights. Milwaukee starts to get really bad the further you get from downtown.
Brown Deer area, duh.
Sadly, this pocket's where most of the crime occurs.
That's right.
It's most of the reason why Milwaukee
20th in Hampton, 20th in Burleigh was always our. We knew this for 30 years.
Aren't trying. 1 in 4 people is living in poverty, and the public schools and housing are also a concern. 17% of adults in Milwaukee never finished high school. 17% in a major city like Milwaukee.
Yeah.
But the real problem is crime.
That's why I moved out,
It's the most violent city in the state, and according to the FBI, it's number 6 in the country for dangerous big cities. Folks living here have
and is a hub for sending people to all those other small towns that you've been talking about.
Robbery or assault over the course of 1 year. And while property crime isn't as bad as the violent crime, Milwaukee has the highest burglary rate in the state too, averaging about 10 a day. People living here say while it's a diverse city, it's segregated and racial discrimination is an issue, as you would expect.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, it's interesting because I don't feel the racial discrimination as often as some people do. Even living there, there's a lot of people who have been good to me of color, of different nationalities who really, it just tells me maybe it's character, because I can walk through that town without necessarily being scared. There's a few moments where I've had somebody kind of get in my grill once we've had a moment, and it's usually when somebody needs help or I ask for someone's help in a direct situation that it tends to get a little bit more opinionated. But most of the time when I'm there, I can walk through. I had friends who lived up in the 20th and Burleigh area when I was in high school too. And, you know, it felt like a different world in some cases, but really I didn't want to look at it like these are people. It's people. Living a little different is one thing, but, you know, I mean, you could be just as scared going to Vietnam and going, I use Vietnam as a general term, I apologize, to poverty-stricken areas, maybe in India or any Asian country, or even, you know, France in different neighborhoods or whatever. You could go and go, wow, this is a different world than I'm used to, you know. But at the same time, these are people living their lives. And most of the time, I've been treated wonderfully by people of other races and my own. So it's hard because I've always had good experiences, I feel like, wherever I go. And if he's going to, there's one town that's probably even tougher situations from the people I've seen and the things they've said, and you'd be surprised, but Fond du Lac is one of them. Now, there's plenty of activity of making things better in Fond du Lac too. So I think it washes itself out. I think what you're discovering is there is no activity to help in these 10 towns. There's no activity from the, I'm going to say local government, but the people who are involved with the government, and even some of the people who are in the town don't think about the idea of what they can do to improve their neighborly situation. Not by kicking people out or avoiding people, but just the idea that their view of the area in general is, man, this sucks. It's never going to get better. They keep making stupid decisions. But what I've seen living in Rapids is I've seen a few people probably of my culture or thought process decide, you know what? I'm going to run for office. I'm going to do this. And so I'm seeing a lot more of my friends, even music wise, or people who are fans of music, getting involved in their communities more and more, which I think that's what's going to save these things from happening anymore. I digress. Let's keep going and find out who number one is. Thanks, Nick Johnson.
Drugs are also a huge problem here, and the public transportation's terrible, but
you ever go to San Francisco?
It seems like they're trying here. Milwaukee's been cleaning up the bad areas and cracking down on crime. And unlike other Midwest cities which lost jobs, they've worked hard to diversify this economy. Apparently, there's a sense of optimism in the air here. Good.
Apparently?
But it's not very optimistic in the worst place you can live in the state of Wisconsin. That would be, of course, Beloit, located an hour south of Madison, over here in Rock County again. About 37,000 people call Beloit home, but they probably wish they didn't. They call it Betroit for a reason. It's economically depressed.
He's not lying.
Lots of gunshots, lots of drug use, and more Illinois fibs up here collecting all those bennies. The unemployment rate here is through the roof. 1 in 10 people won't work, and 1 in 4 of them lives in poverty. That's because 1 out of every 6 kids here never finishes high school. Beloit has the 4th lowest home prices in the state, where you can get a house for $89,000. But as you can see, there's not much demand to live here. Then there's the crime. Beloit ranks in the top 10 statewide for both violent and property crime, but you probably knew that already. The city has the 6th highest murder rate in Wisconsin, and residents have a 1 in 240 chance of being violently attacked over the course of a year. 1 in 240 chance. Of course, you're going to want to watch your wallet when you're walking around the town's farmer market, because last year there were 921 larceny cases, 122
all at the farmer's market, right?
And 71 stolen cars. What?
All at the farmer's market, right?
People living
here. Why would you
Beloit
point out the farmer's market, you moron?
Sounds dirty.
Oh,
there's not much to do, and of course, drugs are everywhere. But
some of the stuff he says is just like easy to say. My goodness, Nick Johnson. Phew, wow, dude. Listen, guys, if we're gonna make something better, I'm gonna go. We're gonna look back. We ran down at the Bucks. Well, we ran down at the Badgers lost and are probably going to the NIT. A little bit of a bummer. It is episode 13. No superstition here. Not worried about it. We're going to keep plugging along every day. I always point out the 13 just for that fact. And we talked about Minnesota letting go of Adam Thielen. That was kind of a big move in the sports world today. We talked about this YouTuber thing and how Google and Yahoo are utilizing these as newsreels for locals to see. And it just feels like, coming from a California company and some companies from down south, that they have an opinion about how Wisconsin is, and they're just going to decide to bash it on the way through. Instead of, if you're going to be useful, find things about places you go and don't make claims based on what you see on numbers. I mean, I don't go to Alabama thinking, yep, everybody's a dang redneck in Alabama, but could be easy, couldn't you? Could be that everybody in San Francisco would be easy to pick on too, but that's not how we look at it. It's not the point. I'll go to San Francisco. Yeah, it's got beautiful things to look at there, but yeah, I'm sure their crime rate is pretty high too in many cases. And if it's not, their cultural influence issues are going to be another one. Alabama, well, I mean, technically, a lot of the college towns are people not from Alabama. So if you're probably from Alabama, you probably have a small town mentality in a lot of ways, where you enjoy things that are easier in life, but usually still work hard for it. To me, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being the positive guy, whereas these are, being negative is easy and sells tickets. Sells tickets, kind of a general statement of the idea that people get paid to do this. Like Nick Johnson here from San Francisco, who has got 26,000 followers. He actually gets paid, or 260,000, excuse me. He actually gets paid quite a bit. They actually had a rundown. His net worth is almost $500,000. And he talks about people who live in the poverty level like they're bad people. and everything sucks. So no wonder. He's made 1,000K in the last 7 days, estimated, and he's made 33K in the last 90 days. And if you add that up, that's about 120,000 a year. Yeah, you don't live in the poverty level, but you sure can talk about people who do. Man, Nick Johnson, you should be telling me about places that you shouldn't go. Did I say that out loud? I guess I did. Welcome to my channel, everybody. You've been watching. What are we talking about, Jeff? That's what we were talking about, is just some things that we can be better, you guys. We can definitely be better. I can be better. I think those guys are probably living a great life in the RV. So out there to Kyle and Olivia from Alabama, and of course to Nick Johnson, well, you're living a good life, and good for you. I'm Geoff Landon. You guys have been watching. What are we talking about, Jeff? That's the end of the 13th episode. Like and subscribe. Find a way to find me right out here at DAHL Media and DAHL Studios on Facebook. Love you guys to death. Thanks for making my day and just being a part of it. See you soon.
Dang. That's kind of it.